got rocked, and it is what it is. And you know, it's funny how those type of things played out, especially in the college football. And you know, maybe a year or two back. Um, thanks again everybody for tuning in to SportsRap podcast right here on E100 Radio. We are talking the college football playoffs and the college football championship upcoming.
Right.
Georgia was the number one team. They lost to Alabama, and
Still a good team, I think.
still a good team.
I like Georgia.
Now you got Michigan in the mix,
Yeah.
and you got, like Baldy mentioned, Cincinnati was served some just due
some love.
for a change. And at one point, a few years back, we talked about possibly expanding that playoff system to a couple more teams.
Right.
Like we mentioned in the opening, two of our teams, Baldy's team, Ohio State, and my team, Notre Dame,
Hey, what about
made the
FSU?
top six. They didn't make the top six. We didn't make the cut, but we were in the top six.
Right.
And they go with the top four, which Baldy mentioned, I think it was last week when he mentioned about Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Right.
Where even if you compare it to like what's going on with the NFL, like we said, the NFL last year you had Washington that had a lower record than Tampa Bay, and they hosted the playoff game. I think in the college realm, I think it should be expanded because there's so many teams.
Yeah.
And again, like you look at the teams like the two that just made the top six that didn't get fully in, that had productive years.
Right.
Ohio State had a little bit better, more productive year than Notre Dame, but they were right there. So they kind of feel what Cincinnati had felt last year and maybe the year before that, where they were right there, but they just got overlooked and didn't get in. So you look at this college football thing, and we all know the difference. You got your powerhouse conferences, your powerhouse teams who are always in the mix, and then you have teams that are right there that I feel like should be given a chance, or a better chance than what they are currently given. Then you have those teams that sometimes surprise you. You know, and I think at that level, more teams should have an opportunity to show their worth. Because like we said, you look at Ohio State, major conference, you look at the season they had, and then they don't get in.
Right.
You look at Notre Dame, who had a surprising season, and don't get in. You look at two of the teams who are basically mainstays in Georgia and Alabama. They're typically mainstays in it. So I think with it being the one game as far as football, I think some of those other teams should get in, and I think they could challenge some of these teams more. Like we said, you know, you look at that game going in, the Georgia game, that championship game. You look at that game going in, and you could very easily debate and say, oh, well, you know, Georgia's pretty much going to take care of that.
Right.
But again, you got to look at it, it's like, oh, they playing Alabama.
Right.
You know, it's not like they playing just some mediocre team in the SEC.
Right. They're playing top 10.
You're playing
NFL players.
top notch.
I'm
glad you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing top notch.
These guys are getting drafted
guys
every year.
They are.
Who are being taught the NFL.
They SEC
last
NFL
5
style
years.
of play.
Nick Saban.
You know, so it's really weird how you get these guys in. So the other Bulls, and I just wrote down the other major Bulls, because the one semifinal between Michigan and Georgia, It's going to be the Orange Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second semifinal is going to be the Cotton Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's so many added bowls now.
Is this weekend thing?
No, it's the 31st.
Oh, the 31st.
And so many added bowls in now
New Year's Eve, baby.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
teams just are getting, oh, we got a bowl game. But I remember back when there were just the major bowl games.
Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl,
Cotton Bowl,
Sugar Bowl,
Cotton Bowl.
Peach Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Cotton Bowl, and the Orange Bowl.
Yeah,
Those were like the majors.
yeah. I just
So
want
now
to
Now, if you're a black guy, playing in college, would you want to play in the Cotton Bowl?
No.
No, no.
I won't play
I'm
the
listen.
Cotton
I find it crazy, and I always said that. Like if you are this overly conscious guy and you're playing college football,
Bowl. Right.
and you end up playing in the Cotton Bowl,
You feel some type of way. Right.
like in your mind, it has to.
It's a slave.
And that's only if you're that conscious
Right.
of that, and you want to be conscious
The
of what's
history
going
of
on.
America.
Other than that, you just like, man, I'm playing. I'm trying to get to the league.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
But it's kind of crazy, man. They need to get rid of that. If they gonna get rid of the Washington Redskins, then you gotta get rid of the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
got to get rid of the Cotton Bowl.
Absolutely. And
Oh,
you know
man.
where the Cotton Bowl is played.
I'm about
right?
to start a position.
You
You,
know-
gotta get rid of the Cotton Bowl.
Sign
And
petition, yeah.
you know where the Cotton Bowl is played, right?
I
In
know what that joke.
AT&T Stadium in Texas.
Oh God.
But you know,
Good point,
I
boy.
still
You crazy.
I still feel like, you know, you kind of semi giving these teams their flowers, as we like to say now, because you give them a bowl, and we know it's a lot of stuff that comes with a bowl. Teams get packages and they get gifts and all that kind of stuff, but it's kind of like for example, you got Ohio State playing in the Rose Bowl against Utah, and then you got Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma State. Two teams that ended up ranked 5 and 6 nationally that are getting, for lack of a better word, now that they've created this college football playoff,
Right.
a secondary bowl appearance. So why not make this a little bit deeper tournament where you
Well,
have that?
who else would you put in?
Well,
Because
kinda-
it's kind of weird. University of Louisiana,
mhm,
they only lost one game, but they're ranked
Right.
24.
right. So what I'm
They
What
only
I'm
lost
guessing-
one time. They only lost one game.
what I'm
in Texas.
guessing is if you got 6 teams, you could arguably give 1 and 2 a bye,
Right.
Right.
have 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 play each other.
Yeah, I
The
thought
NFL
about
got
that
one
too.
by now.
You know,
I thought about the same thing. I said,
and that way,
get them to
that way you give these guys, like, because when you rank them, you put them in the mix.
right.
Like all the advertising, you say these are the top 4 and these are the 2 that didn't make it.
Right.
So it's kind of like, yeah, well, I was there, what you want? So give those teams a fighting chance
Right.
to get back in.
Right.
So you have Georgia will play
They get by.
Ohio State.
Yeah, Alabama.
Mhm.
They get
Right.
by.
Cincy will play. Wait a minute. Am I
Georgia
off
will
there?
play-
1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4.
Georgia will play Ohio
Let's see.
State. I
Georgia
think
will
Ohio
play
State was
Ohio
6.
Yeah, and Cincy will play Notre
Since we play
Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That
makes
would-
sense.
yeah.
That makes sense.
You know?
Yeah.
Or you expand it, right? You
Down to
expand
8.
it
Right.
to 8. And I mean, even if you expand it to 8, you still would have 1 and 2 on a bye.
Mm-hmm.
But you give some of these teams a more fighting chance,
Yeah.
you know? Because in essence, you can look at it, you can say, oh, well, Michigan, they won, they get Georgia, who lost. So I think, like, Georgia that lost should get another chance to play.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, give that 5 and 16 a chance to get in. See if they win.
True.
You know, it's just weird. You know, and I saw somewhere that they were thinking about possibly expanding it to maybe 12 teams. I think that would be hard, a little bit hard for football because of scheduling
Mm-hmm.
with the college football season. But if you do it with the 6 or the 8, like I said, you give the first teams ranked 1 and 2,
Right.
we get the bye,
Right.
and then you let the other 4 teams or the other 6 teams slug it out
Yeah, Georgia played
to get
Ole
there.
Miss.
Right.
You never know what might happen.
Yeah, you
Because,
never know.
like Baldy mentioned last week, you can look at the team like Cincinnati, like I said, who are getting their kudos finally this year,
Mhm.
who were arguably should have been in the mix last year,
Right.
but because of their conference and because of where they ranked, they didn't get the opportunity to get in.
Right.
You know, and then you have the other bowls, like you got the Sugar Bowl, you got Baylor and Ole Miss, and you got the Peach Bowl, you got MSU and Pitt. Shout out to Pitt, by the way.
Yeah, they
My big little cousin played for Pitt. They won the ACC
Yeah,
championship
they
over
were
the
balling
weekend.
all year. I like that. I like that.
So Pitt has made a resurgence in the college football rankings, so to speak. But you know, it gets somewhat old, I guess, when you see the same teams all the time.
That's an all sport.
The Alabamas,
Right.
the Georgias.
Georgias.
Well, I think.
Auburn used to be in the back of the
Well, I think what the
Well,
NBA did
Florida
with
State, Florida.
having this additional play-in tournament,
Mhm.
You like that?
I like it. And the reason I like it,
Or the weak teams get a chance to get
well, not so much the weak teams, but
in. The bubble team.
I mean, you
I
gotta
don't know if I
remember,
can
you
say
only
bubble teams.
you can only in college football, you can pretty much only lose one game
Yeah.
at best, for real.
Not being that national championship game.
One
Right.
game decides whether or not you're in the top 4.
Really top 3.
Right.
Yeah. True. True.
Top
true.
4.
Right.
So
Right.
sometimes, according
And
to
who
what,
you, my fault.
what happens
and
in
who
that
you
time,
lose to too.
where it's according to who
Right.
you lose to, your strength of schedule, and
When you lost that game.
the SEC is the SEC, the Big Ten is the Big Ten.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
SEC.
they still get it in. Now the SEC is put in
Tough.
with about 20% of the league
Tough. The money.
is SEC players.
It's in.
Yeah.
That's fine,
Right.
but the Big Ten still put in players.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they if the SEC SEC is at 300 and something,
Top 10.
they got about 300 something players out of the 1,600 players in the league.
Right.
The Big Ten got about 170 something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So they
You know what I
there.
mean? So they ain't
Right
too
there.
far.
They
It
not
ain't
too
like they
far.
got 50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
So they ain't too far off. They're
Right,
about
right.
halfway off, or a little
Right.
less than half.
Right.
So that's not bad.
Right.
That's still telling you that there's still a lot of talent in
Absolutely.
that Big Ten
Yeah.
that can battle
Yeah.
with the SEC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know the SEC got
Yeah, for the
in-
last
NFL
15,
dudes.
20 years. Yeah.
But that's how all the conversation happened about
Miami.
whether or not a Georgia team, this current Georgia team, because my man Reese is a Georgia fan, that this current Georgia team could be an NFL, the worst NFL team. This conversation been going on for years.
You think so?
No, absolutely not.
No.
I know.
No. And I
How
told
about Alabama? So no.
No.
I don't care who you name.
No.
Right now, this Georgia defense, outside of losing to Alabama, is probably in the top 3 greatest of all time. Right?
Right.
They ain't giving up that many yards, about $183 a game. Then if you take out last week's game,
Right.
you know what I mean? They just got bombed. But if you take out that last
Talk
week's
about that all
game,
the
that's
time.
where they were at
Right.
per. And they wasn't giving up no points, man. Dude, Jokers was giving up about 9
Right.
points a game.
Right.
But it's 2 sides, it's 3 parts of the game.
Special teams, offense, defense.
And this is where the dialogue between me, Monty, and Reese came up, because Reese, being a Georgia Bulldog,
Mm-hmm.
he's looking at his guys, and I said, well, Reese, let's wait, because they got to play Alabama first. Y'all got to beat Alabama. You got to beat another college team before you can talk about beating the NFL team, and they got rocked.
The Detroit Lions beat them. Mm-hmm.
You're not going to tell me that a collegiate team, 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense, 22 guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are deficiencies in every spot on that team. If you take the skill positions, your running back, your wide receiver, your quarterback,
Right.
those are NFL type caliber players.
Right.
Sure.
But then you're gonna get to your offensive line,
That's when it gets real.
and a lot of them ain't gonna make it to the league.
You're absolutely right.
Sure.
They ain't gonna make it.
They get manhandled.
In the NFL, they've been great in college. They already did it.
Then they done want to teach you.
They already, most of your guys that
Right.
made it to the NFL,
Right.
they literally are the greatest college players that probably ever touched college football.
In the history. Yeah.
Right.
True.
So let's just take it. Let's just go back. Name me one. Reggie
No.
Bush.
But that also goes back
Right.
to, just
Right.
real quick, boy, before you
Mhm.
finish, that also goes back to the thing where, NBA, now it used to be that you got to go to college 1 year.
Mhm.
Now you just got to be removed 1 year. But in college, with the physicality and the changeover from guys or young men playing to possibly make the league to playing up against grown men who are playing for their livelihood,
Right.
the reason why you can't come out until junior season.
Right.
I always talk about that thing with Maurice Claret where he wanted to come out after in his freshman year,
Right.
and Ray Lewis set him straight. Like, look, it ain't gonna work because I'm a grown man playing for my livelihood.
Right.
So when I look across that line on the defense, from the defensive end, anybody that touch that ball, I'm trying to clean their clock.
Right.
I'm trying to do bodily harm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do against a guy like Ray Lewis? Let's just say that Ray Lewis in his prime,
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
and you,
Or Patrick
18, 19-year-old running back.
No. None.
Wow. Who
You
could
would be
argue
the
be
epitome-
one of the
You would be the
greatest?
epitome of that NFL not for long.
USC,
Yeah.
when they had their run, who was their quarterback? Matt Leinart.
Might not. Yeah.
Matt Leinart won the Heisman.
Carson Palmer.
He won the Heisman. Couldn't get a job in the
Yeah, I
NFL.
remember.
Mm-hmm.
Got there and he just withered away.
Todd
Reggie
Marinovich.
Bush
Yeah. Heisman
was
Trophy.
arguably one of the best running backs to ever touch a college football field.
True.
He
Another
was
one that won the
worse.
Heisman.
He was the worst running back yards per carry for
He got
3.5
20.
years.
Yep.
Someone coming in the NFL.
I mean,
He was the greatest running back in his era
In his era.
on that field.
Right.
in
Got
college.
to the league,
Trash.
and his yards per carry was last out of 30
I saw
of
that study
31
too.
other running backs.
Yeah, I saw that study.
So you get my point.
Right.
You get my point. Like there's a deficiency
levels to
in
it.
college
Right.
that he could exploit that he can't exploit on
Right.
on a professional
And
level
linebackers
because
in the
everybody has
also,
been that guy.
Yeah, also
Yeah.
like I mentioned, the
Yeah.
quarterback Todd Marinovich,
Mm-hmm.
who was groomed
I got one.
allegedly from like pre-teen
D, I got one.
to be an NFL quarterback,
Brian Bosworth got trucked.
but he never got there.
Huh?
He never got there. The
No.
quarterback Todd Marinovich,
Yeah.
he was groomed,
Yeah.
like I said,
Yeah.
from pre-teen.
Yeah, I'm talking Brian
To
Bosworth.
go to college,
Well,
Be the ish like he was in college,
Yeah.
but he couldn't get nothing done in the
It's different.
pros.
That's why they said that song is different. Like Meek Mill says different levels to this. It's the truth. It's
Well, here's the thing that I understood where Reese was coming from because here's the thing where when somebody make that call about collegiate players being able to beat NFL players, I understand what he's thinking. Because if you take the Georgia Bulldogs collectively, the team collectively, offense and defense, you
Right.
probably got about 17 jokers that's going to be in the league next year.
Mhm.
So technically, he's looking at it like,
You talking about Georgia?
yeah,
Oh yeah, and all that.
he's looking
Yeah.
at it like, well, that's an NFL team. That's what,
Right, I feel you.
because of the projection
Right.
that you're probably going to have about 17 jokers that's going to be in the
They
league.
stacked.
He's looking at them as saying that's like playing an NFL team.
It's not.
And here's where it stops. That's 17 guys, right?
They ain't gonna make it.
But that's 17 guys, right?
So they gonna
Who were the best of the best in college.
collegiate.
Now they're in the pros.
Different.
They're making their way. They're the best of the best in college. They're
Right.
making their way to the pros.
Right.
That's only 17 of them. It's 53 jokers on the team.
Right.
Absolutely.
So in the NFL, everybody in the NFL has been the best of the best of the best in college. They've made it to the pros. Now they're the best of the best all in the country.
Right.
They're the best of all best.
You don't pro level that.
And they're all on one team. You only got 17 guys
Right.
on one team. They got 53.
So you got to beat 17, quote unquote, has to beat that 53.
The numbers don't add
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
It don't mix.
So that's only
Well,
a third.
Yeah.
Right.
You're literally like a third
Yeah, I wasn't good at math,
how
though,
good
dude.
an NFL football
Right.
team
So
is.
there's gonna be
Hey,
lopsided.
can I say it real quick before we wrap
Yeah,
up? Whatever.
it's gonna be lopsided.
Not saying I'm a star. Well, you know, don't laugh.
Well, if you start off saying not saying I'm a star, then that's
Yeah.
that's like saying no disrespect.
Then
but
real
you
quick, all
disrespect.
jokes aside, ran track, fast. I had a record
Yes, you
in
did.
elementary school. Got the middle school, Creighton Middle School, the fastest guy in middle school. Got the Army. I don't know where I was, 8'10". My point is, when you get, the higher you get, people are better than you.
Well,
And I was fast in junior high school.
But
I was
think
fast. John Welsh.
you
and middle school.
wait. Using junior high school, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Elementary school. I was the fastest in elementary school.
Your
and
elementary
middle
school was where you lived at, right?
Yeah, 4th in Europe.
Your junior high school was around where you
Middle
lived at,
school
right?
in the Northeast. Thomas Creek.
Okay, so you moved out of your neighborhood and went to a.
Yeah, I had to, because my
Okay,
grandma would go to jail.
they're only the best people that live around there.
Right.
You get what I'm
Well,
saying?
I'm from North, dog.
Yeah,
But now
there's
when
the
you-
best
Yeah.
in South Philly.
Yeah, true.
But
South
so
Philly.
But when I
you
went got the
high
Army,
school, but when you got the high school,
yeah.
what
Right.
happens is you got the high school and you had 9 different neighborhoods in one school.
Yeah.
Right.
They the best
I was
jokers in every
fast.
neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm not off the 4x1 up. I
You
was
know what I
the
mean?
number one
So,
guy
you
or
know,
the second.
when we talk about stuff
West
like
was
this,
fast.
it always takes me back to
Right, ball.
that dialogue that Charles
West
Barkley
is
had.
smart.
And one of the things
Oh,
he
fact.
said when he talked about players on an NBA team. He said there's 15 guys on an NBA team.
Right.
So, you know, a lot of times the normal rotation, depending on the makeup of the roster, the normal rotation
Right.
is 8
8
to stretching 10
10.
players.
Right.
So that leaves you 5 players
You right there.
that are on that bench that probably will not get a lot of time, if any time at all.
Yeah.
But what Charles Barkley had said was,
Love Chuck.
in that 15, all 15 of them were the man at some point in their
life.
career
Facts.
to get them there.
Facts.
So they're on that, even if they don't play a lot,
Yeah.
they made that team for a
Oh,
reason.
repetition.
For a reason, they're on that
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
You know, so it gets
You
it gets
think-
crazy.
We had Mark Jackson. Not Mark Jackson, I'm sorry. Mark Davis. Mark Davis played for the Sixers. This was around the time we had, I believe, Dana Barros,
Yeah.
early 90s,
Right.
and Clarence Weatherspoon. And Mark Davis was probably the 10th, 11th guy on the Sixers roster. But he played in the pro-ams in Philly, so when everybody was coming to Philly, pros coming back home overseas and all that, Mark Davis averaged 50 a game. He didn't even play the whole game. He would give people 50 and then go sit down for the last 6-7 minutes. But he's the 11th guy on the bench of an NBA team that, and our team was trash.
Right.
Now I mean, like we wasn't good at all.
Right.
But that shows you how good you have to be just to get on the roster.
Hard.
Forget everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to get on the roster, because like you said, the talent pool, it changes. It's 50 high schools in Philly,
Right.
right?
Uh-huh.
They're only putting 10 to 12 people on an all-city team. It's 50 high schools. So 50, let's just say 10. 10 per team. That's 500 kids. Only 10 to 12 of them is getting on an all-city team.
That's love.
Now, how many schools are in America?
Oh wow.
Right.
That's crazy.
We're just talking Philly. We ain't talking
Probably
Pennsylvania.
like 20,000.
But wait, we ain't even talking the state
I
of
get your
Pennsylvania.
point. I
We
get
just
your point.
talking Philadelphia is 50 schools.
One county, right? One county. Right.
So now you got to go all state.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think for so long Philadelphia schools weren't allowed to play in the states?
Because it wasn't good enough.
It's
No.
too many.
Too many. That's right.
There was too many of them, and they were going to be taking the slots, all state slots of schools that were out in Western PA,
right.
they wasn't gonna get those slots because once you allow them to play against them, they're gonna find out they ain't nowhere near better than these jokers.
Right.
And they're gonna those slots are gonna. Anytime you look at the old '90s All-State Philadelphia, Pennsylvania basketball stuff, you're not gonna see a lot of kids from the city on there because we weren't allowed to play against a lot of them.
Right.
Well, that changed. 2002, 2003, 2004, when they did the PIAA, our kids is in the mix.
Hey, Ball, you
all state, all city, all state, all listen, it's crazy.
Right. Yeah. Ball, you and Monty was all part, right?
Yeah. Monty went all American. Monty was second team all American.
You was too?
I didn't even go all public.
Well, football.
And basketball.
Right? Football you did, right?
And football I did. And in track I did.
Yeah, track too.
But I went fourth all state.
Like you said, you gotta look at it. It's 50
talent,
schools in the city.
Jason
like I said, let alone the state. And we all know how big Pennsylvania is as a state.
I miss my school, man. I was running at the clock, man.
Closing out, let's get into these schedules. We're gonna close out
I ain't
with our
gonna cheat this
NFL
time,
picks.
right?
Yeah, you can't cheat now. Tonight in the NBA, you got the Thunder at the Pistons, Wizards, Pacers. Baldy, our Sixers are back in action against the Charlotte Hornets.
How about Elliott Express?
The Grizzlies and the Heat, Magic Warriors, Nuggets Bulls, Cavs Bucks, Hawks Timberwolves, Spurs Suns, and Clippers Blazers. In the NHL, the Avalanche and the Flyers go at it again tonight. The Ducks and the Capitals, the Senators and the Devils, the Coyotes are at the Stars, the Kings and the Canucks, the Penguins are in Seattle against the Kraken. NCAA basketball, top 25. You got Texas Southern going up against number 14 Florida, and Alcorn State going up against number 15 Houston. So now,
time for the picks.
the coup d'etat. NFL Week 14.
We beating Bengals.
It's Thursday. You should definitely have something to talk about on Thursday. The Steelers and the Vikings.
I got the Vikings.
I'm going with the Steel Curtain.
I'm going with the Steel Curtain.
Vikings just lost the doggone.
That's why I'm going with them because they gonna.
You going with who?
The Steelers, man. They got issues.
I said the Vikings. Well, you going with the Vikes, right?
You right, I'm going with the Steelers. I got the Steelers. Vikings.
I ain't trying to convince you. Your pick is your pick.
You know why? You know who the difference? My time. Let's go.
Your pick is your pick, right?
So move into next Sunday.
All right.
The Ravens at the Browns.
Ravens go. The Browns stink, man. Overrated team.
Yeah. I think the Ravens. I think Baltimore.
And Lamar Jackson will throw 2 interceptions. They still go.
Yeah, I like the Ravens there too.
Yeah,
I saw somewhere somebody said that Baker Mayfield was
tired of that guy.
I forget the quote, but whatever. Jaguars and the Titans.
I'm going with Jacksonville.
I'm going with the Titans, man.
Where that game at?
Do it matter?
You do it, man.
They in Tennessee.
Jaguars and Titans. They in Tennessee.
Jackson.
You going with the Jags?
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm gonna go with the guys on the road. I think I'm gonna go with the.
You know why? I'll tell you.
I'm gonna go with Jacksonville.
Tennessee the same team.
I'm going with Jacksonville.
All right. Raiders and the Chiefs.
The Chiefs play.
I'm going with the
up.
Chiefs, man. You don't know what Raiders team is gonna go up.
I guess I'll go.
I don't know where that game gonna be at.
Who you got?
I got the Chiefs. Barely.
Saints and the Jets.
Jets. I'm going with the Jets. I like Mike Solomon he's doing out there. Not because he beat y'all. Solomon got him playing good ball. That guy Zach Wilson, whatever his name, the quarterback, stopped throwing, turn the ball over. I'm going with the Jets. Overtime. Jets.
That's
a toughie, man.
Especially
they got some quarterback issues.
They home there. They
got some quarterback issues in New
Orleans. Yeah, I'm definitely going with Solomon. Got him playing good ball.
All right, I'm gonna go with the home team.
Going with the Jets.
Yeah, I like Mike Solomon.
I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go with the Saints. I'm gonna ride the Taysom Hill and the Saints. Just because. Cowboys at the Washington football team.
I got Redskins.
Yeah, I'm going with Washington.
You know why? That gonna throw it interception. Washington ain't no joke.
Now surprisingly, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Go with the boys
because as an Eagles fan,
I know
we need the Cowboys to beat Washington to get our chance
go with your
heart,
man.
I'm going with my heart
I know,
to get us into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Remember, we all talked at the beginning of the season They're just about where I thought they would be. I said about 8 wins. They had 6 right now.
The Washington football.
We got division games coming up. The Cowboys can help us out. You never know. Anything can happen.
Without Chase Young, they still playing.
Falcons and the Panthers.
Who going to Falcons?
Falcons. ATL.
Yeah. Matty Ice.
I'm going to stay with everybody. Yeah, go with the Falcons there. Seahawks and the Texans.
I'm going. You know what I'm going? I'm going with the Texans.
I'm going with Seattle.
You know why? Because that was the divisional one. They had to win that game. I'm going with Houston.
Okay. I'm going with Seattle.
I'm gonna go with
I think in Seattle it's to the point now.
Russell Wilson went through 3 interceptions.
Where Russell Wilson is
He's
somewhat auditioning.
He is
for his next team.
Real quick. They said it was a rumor. Who's going to lead, him or Pete Carroll?
Right. So that's why I said I think kind of in a way Russell might be auditioning for his next team. Lions and the Broncos.
Broncos. They had a little 1-1. That's it. That game in the Mile High prior to.
You got Broncos.
Denver gonna crush.
Yeah, I'm going with Denver.
Yeah, so that's unanimous.
That's
there.
my
We're going
team.
with Broncos.
Yeah.
Giants and the Chargers.
Chargers.
By
30.
I don't think it's going to be by 30, but I'm going to go with the Chargers. 49ers and the Bengals.
San Fran. We going to be on the road.
Who we playing?
Cincinnati.
Joe Burrow will throw 3 picks. Bosa, I mean, you heard the first ball. Bosa, he gonna have a fumble, sack fumble.
My Niners.
No, because we gave away that game. Leave it alone. We gave that game away ball.
The Bills and the Bucks.
Bills.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
I'm going with the Bills.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
I'm going with the Bucks as well.
I'm going with the Bills.
Stay in Tampa.
The Bears and the Packers.
Packers.
I'm going with discount double check.
Aaron Rodgers. He's a discount.
The Rams and the Cardinals.
I'm going with Cardinals.
Surprisingly, I'm going with the Cardinals too.
Kyler Murray don't get hurt.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Cards.
Yeah. Rams got problems. Okay.
So there you have it, folks. Those are our picks for Week 14.
Ball, we going to play.
Again, 65 degrees today.
Wow.
Get out and enjoy some of the sunshine. Like I
Good
said,
show.
you're at work.
Good show today, man.
Get out on your lunch break and enjoy some of this sun.
Right.
And remember, I will be posting within the next couple of days as well. And do not forget, the SportsRap podcast is going mobile.
Right.
We will be at the Drake Tavern talking some sports, talking to some fans, talking to some participants there. So, if you're not busy, you're not doing anything, get on out, come check us out. Thursday, December 9th, SportsRap at the Drake. We'll see you there. You know where to find me. @SportsRap_D on Instagram and Twitter. In the group on Facebook, SportsRap Podcast. You can always check out the webpage, sportsrapradio.com. And every Monday here, heat100radio.com. And Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, GW District, and most of your podcast outlets. You can find audio. And YouTube. Folks, you get over to YouTube. I've seen some people get over there. You watch some videos. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. And hit that bell so you will know when new video goes up. Baldy?
You can get at me at Ball75 on Instagram and also on Facebook, Aaron Baltimore.
Right?
And you can get me on 2418 Instagram, or you can hit me up on Facebook as well.
Absolutely. So there you have it, folks. Enjoy your Monday to kick off this work week.
Yes, sir.
As we say, be great on purpose. We'll see you all week on social media and right back here Monday,
I'll be
11 a.m.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next week.
Good show. Good show.
Now I gotta take my mom to the market.
You going straight out, ball?
Yeah, I gotta take